Hello viewers, yes, this is Ranjana ma'am and you are watching Yes. It's mine as well as your channel. The thumbnail says it all. I know I don't need to say, but still, as is the custom, I have brought for my ISC students this time Act 1 Scene 3. One of my subscriber, I guess subscriber only, has been requesting me continuously to put up Act 1 Scene 3. So here I am. I always try to answer your SOS messages, emergency, yes, save our soul messages. So this is one. So I'm trying to be of little help. But yes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the like button if you have liked it, and I'm sure you'll like it. So what are we waiting for? Let's start. So scene 3, we find the witches again. They remember in Act 1 Scene 1 they had expressed their desire to come and meet Macbeth. They were going to meet Macbeth upon the barren heath. So they are already waiting for him here. And thunder is ominous. Enter the three witches. First witch, where hast thou been, sister? Witch, killing swine. Third witch, sister, where thou? First witch. So first witch asks the second one, where had you been? So she says, I had been killing swine. So the third witch asks the first one, where had you been? So the first witch says, a sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap and mounched and mounched and mounched. Give me, quoth I. Anoint thee, witch, the rum-fed Runnion cries. So what had happened, she had seen, the first witch had seen a sailor's wife munching chestnuts. She had chestnuts on her lap and she was going on crunching them and munching them. So she said, please give me some. The first witch approached her to give her some chestnuts. But instead of giving, what did the sailor's wife do? Sailor's wife insulted her, told her to leave. Get out, you witch. This rum-fed Runnion. So what does rum-fed Runnion mean? Rum-fed means actually a fat-bottomed, ugly person, dirty person, scabby person. So get lost from here, shouted the fat-bottomed creature. So now the witch cannot let this go without any reaction, without any retaliation. So what has she planned? Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger, but in a sieve I'll dither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do and I'll do. So what is her plan? She wants to persecute the husband of this woman. So her husband is gone on a sea journey. He is the captain of the ship called Tiger. The name of the ship is Tiger, and this woman's husband is the captain of this ship. So the witch plans to go there in a sieve, and she will take the shape of a rat without a tail, a tailless rat, and she will certainly do so. What? She will certainly go and take her revenge. The captain wouldn't even know why these things are happening. Second witch, I will give thee a wind. First witch, thou art kind. Third witch, and I another. So the two sisters, they promise to help her with two favorable winds. Second witch promises one, and the third witch promises another wind. And she says, I'll manage the others. I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know in the shipman's cart. So she says, I will have control of the other winds, and the ports through which these winds blow, and all the directions which are to be found in the sailor's compass from which the winds may evolve. I have knowledge of all these. I have them under my control. I'll drain him dry as hay. So I will make him so thirsty. I will torture him. How? By making him go thirsty. So he will feel as dry as hay. Why? Because he is thirsty, he has no water to drink. So how do you feel? Don't you feel don't you feel as dry as hay when you are very thirsty and you don't find any water to drink? Sleep shall neither night or day hang upon his penthouse lid. So he won't get any sleep. His eyelids, they will never close. So he won't have any sleep. Either it is during daytime or night time, sleep will always elude him. He shall live a man forbid. He will live a cursed life. Very 7 nights, 9 times 9, shall he dwindle, peak and pine, though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. So what are the other tortures that she wishes to unleash on this poor creature? He wouldn't be also aware of why all this is happening. So he 9 times 9, that means 81 weeks. 9 times 9, 9 into 9, 81 weeks he will be starving, and his ship will not be lost, but it will be tempest. It will suffer the blow of a tempest. Tempest means a very severe storm. So his ship will not be lost, but it will be badly damaged on account of the tempest. And then she says, look what I have. So she has brought something along with her, and maybe she wants to start a magical charm. Show me, second witch. First witch, here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come. So what ugly creatures these are, foul creatures. So she has got the thumb of a captain of the ship. Pilot does not here mean the pilot of a plane. The man who steers the ship, the captain of the ship, is also referred to as pilot. You can check in Lord Alfred Tennyson's poem Crossing the Bar. This was in the previous syllabus, Crossing the Bar. So there also in a ship journey the pilot is mentioned. You can think of him as the captain of the ship. So what had happened? She has got the thumb of a pilot who was drowned while he was returning home in his ship. The ship got wrecked and he was drowned. So she managed to get the thumb of that captain. A drum is heard. A drum, Macbeth doth come. So this is what they are waiting here for. Macbeth is coming. Now they'll try to make up a charm, create a charm, magical charm. So what will they do? The weird sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine and thrice again to make up 9. So 9 is a very powerful number. Peace, the charms wound up. So what do these 3 sisters do? They join hands, 1, 2, 3, and make a circle. And then we are the travelers over the land and the sea. Let's dance around and round. 3 times for you, 3 times for mine, and another 3 for the third one. It makes up 9. So their charm is working. It is ready. Enter Macbeth and Banquo, the 2 generals of Duncan's army, the 2 brave ones, gallant captains, gallant generals. So foul and fair a day I have not seen. So I have never seen a day so foul as well as beautiful. Foul and fair. Fair here refers to beautiful. Why is it foul? Because of the thunder and rain and all that. And why is it beautiful? Because they have won the war. They have been able to save their land from shame. They have been able to keep up the glory of their country. So this is fair in that sense. So this is as if like fair is foul and foul is fair in Act 1, Scene 1. Banquo, how far is it called to forest? So he is inquiring as to how far is forest. Why? Because they are going there to the king. Duncan is waiting there for them, and they are going to the king to report to him. what has happened and how the war has come to an end. And suddenly Banquo's eyes fall on the three weird sisters. What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that they look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each one at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so. So when he looks at these weird sisters, so he remarks how horribly they are dressed in such a wild attire. That means in a wild manner, how wildly they have dressed themselves, and they look so withered and dry. They don't look like earthly creatures, but they are on this earth. You don't look like inhabitants of this place, and yet you are here. So then he challenges them. Are you living beings? Or are you something that we should question? Are you ghosts? And it seems that you all understand me. Why? Because each one of you have put your thin, skinny fingers on your lips. Because you want attention from me. You seem to be women, and yet you have beards. So it is difficult for me to accept you as women. Why? Because you have beards. Macbeth, now he challenges the three witches. Speak if you can, what are you? First witch. All hail. Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis. So this is not a prediction, this is just a greeting. Why? Because Macbeth is the Thane of Glamis. This is the fact. His father was the Thane of Glamis, and when his father died, he got this title from his father. He inherited it. So he is the Thane of Glamis. But see what the second witch addresses. The second witch, the way she greets him. All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor. Third witch, all hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter. So the first prediction comes from the second witch, or the first prophecy. She addresses him as the Thane of Cawdor. See, we know that in Act 1, Scene 2, the king has already ordered Ross and Angus to go and confer the title, the Thane of Cawdor, on Macbeth. But Macbeth doesn't know it, and it is also difficult for the witches to know. But they know it. Why? Because they know the future. They know what future has in store. But Macbeth doesn't know it. So naturally he'll be surprised. Banquo. So, and the moment Macbeth hears this, king that shall be king hereafter, you will be king afterwards, later. So now Macbeth gets started. That means he gets surprised when he hears these greetings. So Banquo is telling, good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that sound so fair? So why do you feel startled? Why do you feel surprised on hearing the prophecies? They sound so beautiful. In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or indeed which outwardly ye show? So then he challenges the witches, asks the witches, in the name of truth, just tell me, are you imaginary or are you real? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having, and of royal hope that he seems rapt withal. So you have greeted my noble friend with his present title. What is the present title? The Thane of Glamis. And the predictions also, which finally promises him royal hope, that means of becoming the king. That he seems to be engrossed in his thought. To me you speak not, but you haven't said anything to me. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate. So you have not said anything to me. if you can really see what the future has in store for us, then speak to me. I don't care whether you give me a favorable news or a hateful news. So all the three witches, what do they say? Hail, that is a way of greeting. Greetings. Lesser than Macbeth and greater, the first witch says. That means you won't be as much as Macbeth. You will be lesser than him, and in a way you will be greater. Second witch, not so happy yet much happier. So you won't be so lucky as Macbeth, and in a way you will be luckier. Third witch, you shall get kings though thou be none. You will give birth to kings, or your children or your descendants will be kings, though you won't be a king. You won't be a king. Macbeth will be a king, you won't be a king, but your children and your descendants, they will be kings. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. So then again they greet Macbeth and Banquo. Macbeth, stay you imperfect speakers, tell me more. So he orders them, wait, you have not told us everything completely, so stay here and tell me something more. By Sinel's death, I know I am Thane of Glamis. Sinel is his father. So by my father's death, yes, I am the Thane of Glamis. A prosperous, but how a Cawdor? So how can you address me as the Thane of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. So the Thane of Cawdor is alive and he is a prosperous gentleman. So why do you greet me as the Thane of Cawdor? And to be king, stand not within the prospect of belief no more than to be Cawdor. And then that I should become the king is incredible, in the same manner as my becoming the Thane of Cawdor. Why? Because the king has two sons, Malcolm. So if the king dies, Malcolm succeeds to the throne. If Malcolm also dies, then Donalbain is there. So there is no chance of my becoming the king, unless, say from whence you owe this strange intelligence. So just tell me from where you've got this strange news, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greetings. Speak, I charge you. So he says that why have you stopped us in this barren land with such strange and prophetic greetings which deal into the future. I order you to speak, but they are not the ones to listen to the orders or take orders from a human. So they disappear, leaving Macbeth troubled in his mind as to whether these predictions are real or not. The earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished? So earth also has, in the same way as bubbles, they remain for a short time in the water and then they disappear. These have also disappeared as if they were the bubbles of this earth. And then he says, where did they vanish? Macbeth, into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed. So he says they vanished into the air as if their bodies, they evaporated, they melted. And he wishes his desire, if only they had waited, he would have asked them more questions. Were such things here as we do speak about, or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? So Banquo says that, were these things real? Did these things really happen? Or are we hallucinating? Have we eaten the root of some poisonous plant and that is why we are hallucinating? Which one is the truth? What they have said, or are we hallucinating? It has not really happened. Macbeth, your children shall be kings. Macbeth reminds Banquo, the witches promised that your children will be kings, prophesied. So then Banquo tells him, you shall be kings, and they have promised the king, they have prophesied the kingship for you. And Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so? Yes, they promised that I would be the Thane of Cawdor. Didn't they say that also? To the self same tune and words. Yes, exactly the very words. Who's here? They see some people approaching. So they are Ross and Angus. Enter Ross and Angus. Remember, the king had told both of them, given them orders to go and confer the title of the Thane of Cawdor on Macbeth. So they have come here, and now Macbeth for the first time will know that the witches have not spoken a lie. They have told him the truth. The king, Ross says, the king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. Yes, the king has very happily received the news of your success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praise to contend, which should be thine or his. So the king, when he heard of your bravery in the battle against the rebel chief Macdonald, he was so full of surprise, wonder, and he did not know the apt words to praise you. So he was speechless. Which should be thine or his. Silenced with that, in viewing over the rest of the self same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post with post, and after, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's defense, and poured them down before him. So what happened? He was speechless at wonder when he comes to know of Macbeth's fight against first the rebel chief, then the fighting the Norwegian army, and how he gave a death blow to all the others around him. But he was not afraid of death. He was not afraid of death, but he struck fear in the hearts of all those who were around him, the enemy army, and brought about their death. So posts means messengers followed one after another with messages, all relating to the bravery of Macbeth, and everyone praising what Macbeth had done to defend his kingdom from the enemy army as well as from the rebel. Messengers, they came one after the other. And what messages did they bring? They brought messages with praises of Macbeth, what he had done to defend the kingdom, and also the praises of Macbeth in front of Duncan. So all the posts were full of praises of Macbeth. We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. So why have these two come? The king has sent these two to thank on Macbeth and Banquo on behalf of the king. They have come here to escort Macbeth and Banquo to the king, rather Macbeth to the king, but not to reward him. Reward will be given by the king himself. Their job is to come and take them in an honorable manner or with honor to the king. Ross, and for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail most worthy Thane, for it is thine. So Ross says, yes, greater honors are awaiting you, and just to prove this, he has ordered us that we should confer the title the Thane of Cawdor on you. So I wish you, or I greet you with this title, the Thane of Cawdor. Why? Because now this title belongs to you. So now see the reaction of Banquo, the immediate reaction. So what does he say? What? Can the devil speak true? So yes, this is what the witches had said just a few minutes ago. and it has come to be true. It has proved to be true. So he says that yes, can the devil speak the truth? Macbeth, the Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes? So Macbeth wants to know the reason why they are calling him the Thane of Cawdor. So he is still alive. So why are you addressing me with a title that belongs to him and not to me? Who was Angus? Who was the Thane lives yet. So he is not the Thane anymore. The title has been taken away from him. He was the Thane of Cawdor once, but he is not the Thane anymore. Yes, he is alive, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. So he has been given the death sentence very deservedly. Why? Because he had joined hands with the enemy army. He had joined hands with the king of Norway. So he has been given the death sentence very deservedly. So he doesn't bear the title anymore. The title has been taken from him and given to you. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both, he labored into his country's wrack, I know not. So it could be that he joined hands with the king of Norway. If he assisted him with help, reinforcement, or whether he had done both. He can help the king of Norway in two ways. Either he actively participates or passively provides him with it, or he does both, active and passively helps the king of Norway, but he had done something against his country. He had plotted against his country and tried to bring its ruin. So his treachery has been proved, but treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him. So his treachery has been proved and he has also confessed to it, and this has brought his death sentence upon him. This has brought about his downfall, his ruin. Macbeth aside, Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. So the witches knew that I am the Thane of Glamis. They knew that I am going to be the Thane of Cawdor. So if they have said that king hereafter, that is the greatest, that is to follow. To Ross and Angus, thanks for your pain. To Banquo, this is aside. He is not saying it in front of Ross and Angus. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promise no less to them? So don't you think your children will be king? Because those only who said I will be the Thane of Cawdor, they only promised this to you. Then it should be, it proved to be true. It should prove to be true that your children will be king. Banquo's speech is very important. That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. So Banquo now realizes what is going on in his mind. The king hereafter, that means he will become the king afterwards. So this might incite Macbeth into becoming the king by committing regicide or the murder of the king. So he says that if you trust them completely, it might inspire you to hope for the crown, to think of the crown along with the Thane of Cawdor. You have already got the Thane of Cawdor. So this should make you very hopeful that one day you will become the king, and you might try to get it in a unlawful manner. Indirectly he is hinting to that. But it is strange. All these happenings are strange. And oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truth. Underline instruments of darkness. So he says, it often happens, it has been seen often, that these evil spirits, they tell us the partial truth, and in this way they win our confidence. See, the evil creatures have already won the confidence of Macbeth by making this prophecy, by prophesizing the Thane of Cawdor, which proved to be true. So in this way they are winning they have already won the confidence of Macbeth. And then he says that oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truth, win us with honest trifles to betray in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word I pray you. So these instruments of darkness, many times they deliberately tell us a small truth. Why? To lead us into trouble. How do they lead us into trouble? They win our confidence by telling small truths, trivial things. They tell us truths. Thane of Cawdor is trivial in comparison to the becoming of the king. They win us our. Banquo seems to be quite a wise person. He doesn't get swayed by the predictions of the witches. So he is trying to convince Macbeth into not believing these creatures, because he says they tell you the truth in small things, trifling things, and win your confidence, and then lead you into the wrong path. They deceive you in important matters. And then he calls Ross and Angus cousins. He wants to have a word with them. But Macbeth, does he follow the words of Banquo? No. If he had done it, he would have been a different person. But no, the witches have convinced him. Two truths are told. So Banquo goes to talk to Ross and Angus, whereas Macbeth is talking and the audience can hear him. Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act. Prologue is what happens in the beginning. In a drama, in many dramas there is a prologue. An epilogue after the drama ends. The last part of the drama is the epilogue. A speech is given at the end. That is called an epilogue. Not all dramas have either prologue or epilogue. Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. So this is what he tells aside to the audience. The audience can hear, but he is actually as if talking to himself. Two predictions have proved right. First one was not a prediction. It was the fact. He was the Thane of Glamis. And they are as if happy prologues to the event of his becoming the king, the first two. And then again he talks to Ross and Angus. I thank you, gentlemen. He thanks Ross and Angus for conferring the title upon him on the king's orders. Then again he talks to himself, or rather to the audience. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. Yes, this supernatural soliciting or this temptation, it cannot be ill, it cannot be good. He says neither can it be ill, neither can it be good. Why? He is giving explanations. He says, if ill, why hath it given me earnest of success commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. So he says that if this truth is an evil one, then why has it given me success by conferring upon me the title the Thane of Cawdor? Because yes, I am the Thane of Cawdor. Those weird sisters, they had greeted me by the title the Thane of Cawdor, and I am the Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? So he says, if this soliciting or this supernatural temptation, if it is good, then why do I feel so scared at the thought that my hair raises on one end of it? So my hair raises on one end. That means my hairs, they stand on one end on my head. Or why does my constant heart shake and hit my ribs? Why does my heart tremble against my ribs? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. So he says fears which are visible, They are not so horrible as imagining horrible things. Imagining horrible things are more fearful than the present fears. Present fears, when they are in front of you, you fight them out. But when you imagine, you don't know what to do. When you are imagining horrible things. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man, that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not. So he says that my thoughts of committing a murder to become the king is only in its incubation state, is only in the imaginary state, not even incubation, is in the imaginary state. The thought of murder is in the imaginary state, but this very thought has upset me so much that the only real thing to me is what is not actual. That means my being the king in future. That is the real thing to me, which is not actual. So he feels very scared. He has not yet thought of committing the murder. It is in an imaginary state in his mind. And yet, how does he react to it? That his normal powers of action, he has lost it in thinking on this. And only thing which is real is what is not real. What is not real, only thing that is real to him is what is not actual. What? That is becoming of the king. And in the meantime, Banquo notices Macbeth. He is so bothered in his thoughts. He is so engrossed in his thoughts. So he tells Ross and Angus, look how our partners rapped. So how he is lost in his thought. If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir. And Macbeth is still debating to himself. If destiny has kingship in store for me, then it will make me king without my making any efforts. I will automatically become the king. I don't need to make. This is what he loves, the idea of becoming the king, but he doesn't want to take steps to become the king. So he is not completely bad at this moment. It is his wife, Lady Macbeth, who will goad him and pressurize him into action to commit the murder. The thought of becoming the king entices him, but he did not want to become the king by committing the murder of the king. And he also said, Duncan is such a good king. New honors come upon him like a strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use. So Banquo says the new honor which he has received, the Thane of Cawdor. So this is like a new cloth, new garment. It is not fitting closely, but with use it will sit tight on him. It will fit him perfectly with use. Actually, he is busy thinking of the new honor that has been conferred upon him. Banquo knows what Macbeth is thinking, but he doesn't want to tell the others about it. Macbeth aside, come what may, time and hour runs the roughest day. So Macbeth, he is again talking to the audience. Let whatever has to happen, let it happen. Come whatever may happen. Come whatever may happen, whatever may happen, let it take place. Time and occasion. Time, where is it? Time and hour runs through the roughest day. Yes, time and occasion, if something is about to happen, time and occasion will bring it out, even if the time is full of hurdles, then also that event will take place. Even if the path is full of hurdles, whatever has to happen will happen. So if I am to become the king, I will become the king, even if there are obstacles in my way. Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, these are the three obstacles in his way. Banquo, worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. So Banquo reminds Macbeth that they are expected, they are waited at Forest. The king is waiting for them. So he says, noble Macbeth, we are waiting for you to join us. Macbeth, give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us towards the king. So he asks forgiveness from Ross and Angus. He says, please pardon me. And then he says, actually my brain was having a conflict. There was a conflict going on in my mind regarding some forgotten things. So kind gentlemen, all the trouble that you have taken for me, they are recorded or imprinted in my mind. And I will remember whatever you have done for me. I will remember them forever. Let us now head towards the king. Let us now proceed towards the king. And then what does he tell Banquo? Think upon what had chanced, and at more time, the interim having weighed it, let us speak our free hearts each to other. And he knows that Banquo knows about the third prophecy or the second prophecy, that king hereafter. So he has to take somehow Banquo into confidence. So he says that let's think over what had happened, and when we have the time to discuss, we will discuss it with each other in confidence. So we will discuss it with each other confidentially. Banquo, very gladly. Banquo is not under this pressure. Why? Because they haven't promised him the kingship. His children, his grandchildren, his descendants will be king. So he is not bothered. But Macbeth is. Till then, enough. Come friends, till then nothing more to say. And then he tells Ross and Angus, come friends, let's proceed. So this is where Act 1 Scene 3 ends. Quite a lengthy scene. So I think I have tried to make it very lucid. So wait for the other videos to proceed in your syllabus, since it's a new one. And bye for the time being. Have a nice time ahead.